Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Major and I'm a solutions architect at AWS from Sydney. I'm really excited to be joined by one of our customers, Connect. With me from Connect is Kevin Conlon, who is the founder, CEO, and MD of Connect. In this session, I'm going to show you how you can use well-architected framework as a baseline to secure your environment. Just a few words about what we're covering today. I'm going to start off with AWS well-architected introduction. Then I will spend a bit of time going over core concepts, the purpose of the well-architected, and how it can benefit you. After that, I will talk about design security and how you can implement in your environment. Then you'll hear from Kevin about their cloud journey in the healthcare industry, on how they utilize well-architected framework to assess their security posture and align to healthcare compliance and regulation. Then we will wrap up this session with useful resources to get you started on this journey. At AWS, we have helped design and review thousands of customer architecture across a wide variety of business verticals and use cases. So from that experience, we have identified best practices and core strategy for architecting systems in the cloud. Well-architected framework was created to help customers to build a secure, high-performing, and resilient workload in the cloud, and continually assess and improve the workloads against the best practices. So one way to think about well-architected is a mechanism for your cloud journey. A mechanism that's a repeatable process allow you to improve the architecture over time. So we see well-architected is a way to provide you guidance on designing your architecture against best practices and consistently improve over time. As you move into the cloud or building a cloud-native application, well-architected allow you to learn the best practices for building in the cloud and help you make important design decisions. But it doesn't just help you learn. Well-architected help you to measure your architecture. As an engineer, I always look for ways to measure, asking myself question, is this architecture following best practices? Is this architecture designed in the most secure and resilient way? So one of the benefits of well-architected is it gives you a consistent way of reviewing your architecture and measure how well it is following best practices. And of course, once you have done that measurement, you can identify any critical issue that might need addressing. Then you have the opportunity to improve over time and make small incremental improvements. We provide you with guidance on how you can improve based on those findings. You will benefit by maintaining operational excellence, be more secure, reliable, and performant, while optimizing for costs and make trades-offs along the way. Now let's take a look at what you can learn from AWS well-architected. It really consists of 4 things. It's based on the 5 architecture pillars of the well-architected framework. There are design principles that provide you with high-level guidance. Best practices, which map to a set of questions for each pillar to help you measure your architecture and learn. You can learn how to improve by identifying risk. What should you do to try and reduce or mitigate those? Then we also have a well-architected lenses, which focus on a specific industry or technology domains to provide more specific guidance. So these are the 5 architecture pillars that made out of well-architected framework. We start off with operational excellence, as it is important that you know how you're going to operate your workload. How do you understand the health of your workload? Security, which we are covering today, includes areas of identity and access management, detection, data and infrastructure protection, and incident response. Reliability, performance, and cost optimization round out the other pillars and you can find more information at the end of this session. Now let's take a look at how you can evaluate and measure your cloud workloads. There are 3 main resources to support you in understanding how you can measure your cloud workload and how AWS operates security of the cloud to align with industry standards. When we talk about security and compliance with our customer, we would like to start with AWS shared responsibility models. AWS is responsible for security of the cloud, which is below the dotted line. It means that protecting the infrastructure that runs all the services offered in the AWS cloud. To evaluate that, there is the AWS Compliance Center, help you to understand the robust control in place at AWS and research about cloud-related regulatory requirements and how they impact your industry. Then we have the AWS Artifact. It provides you with on-demand access to information on AWS Auditor Issue reports, a certification, and accreditation. As a customer, you can use these reports to align AWS controls to your own control framework and provide these to your regulator as the evidence of security controls. Customers are responsible for security in the cloud, which is above the dotted line in the shared responsibility model. There are AWS security services to evaluate your security posture. AWS Well-Architected provide you with a consistent approach to review and measure your architecture. There's also a well-architected self-service tool to perform the review process to allow you to better understand your technology portfolio, as well as to align with your compliance or regulatory framework. Later in this session, you will hear from Connect to discuss their own journey started with well-architected to build a highly secure and efficient workload, and enforced to satisfy healthcare industry regulations. Now let's go over all the resources available in the well-architected framework to improve your architecture. It's basically broken down into 3 major areas. There's a content, tool, and the data. If you look at the content, this is usually where it begins. The content includes things like well-architected framework, 5 architectural pillars. There is a white paper available for each of these pillars. There is also a well-architected lab available for you to get hands-on experience. Then we have the tool as well. AWS Well-Architected tool is available in your AWS Management Console. There is also a well-architected API to enable the automation of the well-architected functionality, measurements in your existing workflow, or integrate those into your reporting tools. When you review your architecture, you can use the tool to have a self-service to access your workload. You can engage with AWS Well-Architected partner to perform the review process. Later in this talk, Connect will discuss why they engage with AWS Well-Architected partner and their experience in depth. You can also perform the review process guided by the AWS team to evaluate your workload. So the tool and the content combined are really to give you data about your architecture, and that's the angle we're trying to get here. The data allow you to get the documentation about your workload, to see your entire technology portfolio, which of those 5 pillars are the highest priority for your business. And the outcome of the well-architected review is the improvement plans to identify any critical issue that might need addressing or dive deep into areas that need improvement. So there are a lot of useful resources available to you and your team to make informed decisions and work on those plans. One of the questions we hear a lot from our customer is when to use well-architected. What I wanted to point out here is you can use well-architected in any point of your application or workload lifecycle. You should start using from day one to have a strong foundation. And this is not just for a production workload. So once someone has an idea and they start ideating around your application or prototyping, or you're just going through a POC, there are distinct questions that you start to ask yourself. Is there a better way to do this? Are we following the well-architected design principles? Or what are the best practices for this specific workload? And this could be months or years before you get to the point you're ready for launch. The reason why is because doing things right from the start means the less issue you will have and the less rework to do. Let me give you an example. When you and your team are designing a workload with well-architected design principles in mind, it enables the team to raise their bar on a good architectural habit, following industry standards, as well as mechanisms that help with compliance from the beginning. It's also a great opportunity to align technical and business objectives within the organization early on. When both business stakeholders, architects, and engineers understand the priorities and ensure that architecture facilitates achievement of those objectives, it really increases the agility and the speed of your business. When I talk to customers who understand well-architected framework, have been through the review process, and want to know how they should get started, I recommend operational excellence and security. As part of this talk, I want to step through the security design principles to help you strengthen your workload security. It begins with identity. It's a foundation of control in the cloud environment. You need to know in your organization who has access to your resource and the permission they have. This is where you should centralize your identity that access your workload, for example, like using AWS single sign-on. We then move on to traceability, which is about detective controls like logging and alerting to gain visibility and insights using Amazon GuardDuty as the intelligent threat detection. It's an essential part of your security lifecycle, and it can be used to support a quality process, compliance obligation, or investigation of security issue. When architecting your workload, I recommend to apply security at all layers. It makes you think about defense in depth. Secure every single layer of your workload, including the network, the compute, your application, and think about zero trust. In the traditional approach of risk and security assessment performed by a team manually going through into the architecture and system doesn't scale much. You need a way to scale that security knowledge and capacity in the team to increase the speed of your business. The best way to achieve this is to automate as much as possible to help you build a secure baseline and perform operation as code, like using AWS CloudFormation to build the infrastructure. Moving on to data, your data plays an important role in the security approach. And we recommend to classify and encrypt your data. Keep in mind the previous point on applying security at all layers, like appropriate permissions. Keeping people away from data is about reducing the risk of human error, whether it is accidental or malicious. No one should have access directly to your sensitive data. Finally, we come to incident response, which is about building runbooks and simulating your response to events, so you're prepared for when unexpected events happened. And with that, I would like to hand it over to Kevin from Connect to share their story on how they leverage well-architected framework to learn, measure, and improve their healthcare application, CareLever, and the benefits is brought into your business. Over to you, Kevin.
Thanks, May. Hi, I'm Kevin Conlon, the CEO and MD of Connect. I started Connect in my last year of uni in 1996 as an exercise physiologist with the simple goal of helping injured workers get back to work. Nearly 25 years later, we are one of the largest privately owned occupational health companies in Australia. Our why is simple: to help people. And we do this by making people at work healthy, safe and productive. How, you might ask? Well, by getting people who are injured at work back to work and life, reducing risk to individuals before they get to work with our pre-employment medicals, and helping workers with their health and wellbeing while at work to maximise their health. This past year has seen us help 70,000 people, and we are pushing to help even more every year. So why the well-architected review? This requires some context of our platform CareLever. It all started out in 2012 when we wanted to solve a problem for Connect internally. Focused on getting better outcomes for people we help, we thought we could leverage the vast amount of data we had to enable us to make better decisions. Or, as we say, technology-enabled occupational health. We went to the market to try and buy a product that could solve this problem, and we couldn't find one. So we set about building our own. We employed a team of developers and needed somewhere to house the data, as we decided on-prem was not an option, particularly after the Brisbane floods led us to change our strategy with on-prem servers, as I'm sure you can appreciate. It was vital that we had data sovereignty and our servers were hosted on Australian soil in the most secure environment because, of course, our data is about people's health. We also wanted to be future-proofed due to the requirements for compliance frameworks like HIPAA, and this was why we partnered with AWS. Over time, many of our customers became curious about our platform and asked us if they could use it, so we set about doing that as well. Most clients used Excel and Outlook, and many of our future clients still do. CareLever has grown to an enterprise-level SaaS solution for over 2,000 active users, comprising of 500 companies both nationally and internationally. The business drivers for our well-architected review are focused on three primary areas. Firstly, our approach to safety. Having confidential healthcare data needs not only to be in a highly secure environment, but also a safe and efficient environment. This was why we started our journey originally with AWS in 2012. Operational efficiency is particularly important not only in our development teams so they could focus on their area of expertise, but also in our business so that our people could be efficient and also harness the machine learning potential using the vast amounts of data that we had collected. Future growth was particularly important for us, and we were simply outgrowing our existing systems and we wanted to be able to scale. Our journey to well-architected. Establishing our goals was primarily around sanity checking our current platform's security and compliance and ensuring it was best in class first and foremost, and then followed by ensuring its ability to scale efficiently. In identifying expertise, we realised that our in-house DevOps did not have the specialisation at a critical time with infrastructure changes and refactoring that was occurring. So solving in-house was not the right solution at that time, both from a security and compliance perspective. So engaging a partner was critical, but easy, as AWS scoped our initial needs and recommended that a well-architected review framework would help Connect achieve our goals. They recommended iTOC, an AWS partner who are accredited to perform the well-architected review. AWS also helped out with a credit towards the project, which was very helpful. Developing the plan was easy as iTOC took the time to deeply understand our business, especially the transition and the important security considerations and how critical this was. iTOC worked with us to develop a plan for the well-architected review. Our partnership with iTOC had 5 critical areas. Firstly, clear roles around what we needed to do with our teams and how their teams would integrate with ours. Secure infrastructure whereby iTOC reviewed all of our current systems, including our CloudWatch and firewalls, server and container usage. From this, iTOC developed and recommended a plan for the infrastructure we needed, which would best practice and help us align with the HIPAA framework, allowing us to scale into international markets. Best practice methodology was important and revealed that we needed to clean up our 55 instances and bring that down to 5 instances and adopt best practice methodology with containers which would auto-scale based on what we were using at the time. Ensuring the new infrastructure would meet all security requirements required by our clients and the health industry regulations with 100% confidence was very important to us. Managing the migration to the new infrastructure ensured that we were able to work smoothly and efficiently, and most importantly, minimising the downtime and impact the move had on our users. Ongoing support post-migration was essential for us as we moved to cloud operations managed solution with iTOC on a monthly retainer. This included monthly Datadog Watch being managed by a dedicated cloud engineering pod, providing 24-hour support, monitoring and alerting, thought leadership, cost optimization, and a proactive monthly well-architected review. This made sense to us because iTOC are experts in the AWS cloud. They designed the infrastructure and an ongoing proactive approach which was more cost-effective for us than having in-house expertise. So what kind of outcomes did we get? Well, you guessed it by the fact that I'm presenting this to you right now. It was exceptional. A strengthened reputation in that our technology platform continues to be best in class around security and performance and exceeds our clients and the health industry regulations with 100% confidence. We estimate this has helped increase our new business wins by about 15%, and this will further increase over time. Improved efficiency, as I mentioned before, with 55 instances down to 5, and speed greatly enhanced, giving us both confidence and peace of mind. Reduced costs through optimisation via the well-architected review. We believe there are further cost reductions with third-party resources versus internal resources, saving us approximately 50%. Predictive analytics with machine learning and business intelligence is what I'm particularly passionate about. Our data set is clean, tabulated, large, and compiled over many years. Our first ML project is complete and is predicting the likely risks to the candidate through a data set compiled before we even see them, which is keeping people safer before they even get to work with less friction. The second ML project, which is currently underway, is building predictive models for the recovery timeline of injured workers, helping people get back to work quicker with technology-enabled occupational health decisions. ML and BI will be another important point of difference for Connect with CareLever. As far as we know, no one else in our industry has done this yet. We will be the first. So what are the takeaways? Access to expertise means that if you're embarking on a similar process, designing a secure infrastructure requires special skills, and access to this expertise will be critical to your success. Whether you have these skills in-house or you engage a partner, it's essential as a consideration. iTOC has been like an extension of Connect, which is how we feel about our clients. That is, we are an extension of their business and truly their partners. iTOC has helped us to create a scalable, secure, robust platform, all while lowering costs. The perfect outcome, really, and one which was quite surprising from a cost perspective. Thanks to iTOC, and thank you to AWS for your continued support.
Thanks, Kevin, for sharing the Connect journey with us. It's a really inspiring story. If you're watching this and want to get started today, I would say, as most things on AWS, we have online resources that you can learn about AWS well-architected and framework. There's also a well-architected lab and a solution to let you learn how to do various things in a well-architected way. This is an executable content for you to exercise things we talk about in this session, and I highly recommend for you to check it out. There's also a well-architected tool, which is a self-service platform to review and evaluate your architecture. You can leverage well-architected partners to help you get started on this journey. If you want to learn more about security, please check out the security courses from AWS training and certification team. With that, I would like to thank you for watching, and thanks Kevin for joining with me. Please complete the survey at the end of the session and let us know what you think.